There's something I need to tell you. What's up? Well, that girl, Michio Shiraishi, the one who was with Shuichi on the day of the kidnapping? That's her. Well, she's dead. She's what? The student who committed suicide last week, that was her. I heard something about that happen. Never got the name, though. Talk about bad luck. Finally get a lead, only to find out it's a literal dead end. Unless her death was the whole reason Jonuichi was shaken up. She said she was going to curse him. Was he talking about her taking revenge from beyond the grave? It seems like we're back where we started. Not necessarily. A teacher knows something, I'm sure of it. At the very least, I put money on him having something to do with Shiraishi's death. That's why he's so scared of being cursed by her. I see. And also something tells me he knows more about your son's kidnapping. In any case, I think I've got a good idea of what he's hiding. Call it a hunch. A hunch? Well, more of a theory. Care to take a guess? Yeah? I can't say for certain, but... Mr. Jonuichi. Silence. With murder. What if Mr. Jonuichi silenced Michio Shiraishi with murder? What do you think? I see. So you think Shiraishi's death might not have been suicide? That would certainly give him a good reason for, to think she'd hold a grudge, but I'm not sure I buy it. Back! That might be a bit far-fetched. I see. I'm sorry if I disappointed you. I'm not really cut out to play detective. Well, no point in dwelling on speculation. The truth will turn out in time. Right now, I think we need to have another chat with Mr. Jonuichi. Do you want to tell me something? I've already said everything I wanted to say. Belt buckle. He's so big! It's a big belt buckle! Why is it so big? Standing around is the last thing I wanted to be doing right now. This is my only chance to bring back my son. I cannot afford to fritter it away. Fritter! The Sumida River. The water is filthy and horrid, but at night, when it's still, it looks almost peaceful. Can I ask you something, man? Is the Sumida River what you Honjo folks picture when you think of home? I couldn't say. All I can tell you is that I can hardly stand the sight of it. Right, should have guessed. That's where they found him after he went missing. All alone, floating in that horrible water. All I could think is how scared he must have been, how cold he must have been. What did he ever do to deserve something so awful? I've come here every day since then. And I pray to the river to give him back. To give me back my son. Day after day after day. You know, in olden times, people believed the rivers marked where our world would meet the next. So the act of crossing flowing water had a huge amount of spiritual significance. Back when Ito was founded, the people of Chuo saw the Sumida River the same way. They associated the far side of the river with the afterlife, the same place that would later become Honjo. After all their fear and revulsion accumulated there and took root. Ooh. But then the Ryogoku Bridge sprang up after the Great Fire of Mereki, and just like that, Honjo was a part of the city too. As it turned around from farmland into town, people surrounded it with man-made rivers and crisscrossed it with the canals and waterways. Were those to prevent flooding? That's what I was told. They were, but it's not all they were for. Their other purpose was to contain all corruption that had built up on the far shore, and stop it leaking through our side of the Great Divide. Officially, there was a physical barrier, but unofficially, there was a spiritual one too. I can read real good. Don't question me. The caffeine's kicking in. So if I have this right, are you saying that Honjo is a place where the real world meets the afterlife? Exactly, that's why the rite of resurrection is here, rather than anywhere else, I'm sure of it. And that's probably why the 7 mysteries and their curses have survived to the modern day. And I guess that would make this spot we're standing now right over the water, the border between life and death. There was a place where bringing back the dead might be possible. I reckon it's here. It's funny you mentioned praying to the river. That might have been more than you think. So it's supposed to make me feel better. Just thinking aloud, ma'am. That's a nice thought. Cozy.
Water.
Ow! Thank you, water. Water! I'm like disassociating. I'm zoned. Ah! I'm good. I'm awake. I'm vibing. We're good. We're great. Big stretch. Ow. Did you want to tell me something? I already said everything I wanted to say. Oh, that's right. There's one more memory I have of this river. Do you mind if I tell you? Go ahead. Must have been about 20 years ago when I was still a schoolgirl. Back then, the Sumida River was much filthier than it is now. It was full of garbage and industrial discharge. It was scummy and slimy and it stank. One sec. You could look out of the water and see, dead cats and dogs and pigeons just floating. One day, among all the filth and garbage, there was a piece of my missing classmate's hand. Huh? You're telling this story so cautiously. Huh? What? It was almost a miracle when you stop to think about it. What were the chances someone would find a part of her that was still recognizable? And although everything but the palm had rotted away in the water, the part that was left would have an identifiable scar, and that they could be able to tell a murderer it had been a murder from the blade marks on the bone. Huh? Haru, you good? Wait, are you talking about the Nejima murders? So you've heard of it? I'm impressed. I assume you were about an elementary schooler at the time. I wasn't really aware of it then, but I only heard about it after the fact. I had no idea the victim was a classmate of yours. I want to read this fucking case. Excuse me? The what murders? Ooh, the murder case. Let's do it. Red, everything has dyed crimson. My home is burning to the ground. It's so hot, it's hot, so hot, so hot. I must call for help, but I cannot speak. My throat must burn up from the smoke. Now I think I'm already on fire. That's right. I'll just use the clappers. Clack, clack, is anybody there? Clack, clack, why is no one coming? I'm going to burn to death. How did it come to this? Oh, right, her. It must be the work of the vixen who appeared and enchanted my lord, that witch. Those hauntingly cold eyes that had my lord dancing in the palm of her hand. Perhaps I was also taken in by her. How many innocent people did I lure under orders? This must be karma. The sound of a heavy bell. It feels like my head may split open. Oh, right. The evening bell. That must be why nobody can hear the sound of my clappers. I've got to do it louder. Clack, clack. Well, that's unfortunate. That don't sound fun at all. Gimme. Notorious case from over 2 decades ago involving the murder of a female high school student first came to the attention of the authorities when part of a human left hand was discovered floating in the Sumida River. Testing it also revealed belonged to a missing female high school student. As it appeared to have been severely severed deliberately, the police launched a murder investigation. Large-scale search of the river was organized, but the highly polluted state of water made it impossible. The visibility was poor. The stench was intense, and the divers quickly fell ill. Words. They succeeded in recovering only the victim's hand and what appeared to be part of her leg before the search was called off. At the time of the incident, Sumida was as polluted as it had ever been. Neither fish nor shellfish could survive in it, eventually causing annual fireworks festival to be called off indefinitely. Over the course of the search, the police discovered a number of unidentified human bones. This caused a stir among the public, and several other young women had gone missing in recent years in the Tokyo area. It was feared that it may have fallen victim to the same fate. Forensic technologies at the time, however, were not as advanced enough to determine the identities of the deceased, and so the police were unable to open any inquiries. Damn. Big ol' yawn. Due to overwhelming lack of circumstantial evidence, the investigation ground to a halt until a hitherto unrelated individual came to its attention. During a questioning about separate incidents, Fumichika Najima, a 36-year-old shop owner, had no relation to the victim, divulged details about her that had never been released to the general public. An investigation into his background was conducted, leading to his arrest. Najima testified that he had snatched his victim from the street, confined her in the underground storeroom of his shop, what the fuck? Which also served as his living quarter, what the fuck? He chose her for no special reason, but simply decided she was an opportune target on seeing her walking alone that night. After keeping her locked up for several days, he restrained her, sewed her mouth shut, severed her fingers and toes with a box cutter, and while she was conscious! What the fuck? She screamed silently behind her sealed lips, proceeded to her wrists, her ankles, her elbows, her knees, working his way inwards slowly and methodically. Jesus. Victim constantly wavered in and out of consciousness. Ordeal continued until she died of blood loss. Ew! I have sympathy pains. I can feel that on my body. I'm not a fan of that. Najima dismembered the rest of her body, disposed of it being behind his home in Sumida River before cleaning his storeroom and returning to his everyday routine as if nothing had happened. The brutality of his actions shocked the nation when they were eventually reported. Once apprehended, Najima really divulged details of the murder, but was less willing to explain his motive. When asked, he would only break down in tears, saying, "I don't know what came over me. I know it was wrong." In the end, police could extract nothing more from him than an expression of remorse. Although the efficiency of his methods strongly suggested that he had committed similar crimes in the past, no corroborating evidence ever came to light. Najima was sentenced to life in prison at his first hearing. The sentence was imposed with no appeal from the defendant. I wonder, do you think a curse took effect? So if he, broke down and was like, oh my god, this happened, I did it, but I don't know why I did that. Was he possessed? Will we find a similar case? Wait, the reeds! The fucking reeds! Where is it at? Yeah, that. Yeah, that. Yeah, that! The Ryogoku Bridge! Yeah! He cut pieces off and threw them in the water! It's connected. It's a fucking circle. It's all connected. Solve the murder. It will not hold up in court. To be honest, it was all a bit of a blur. A wave of chaos just parting around me. Something like that. Give me a second. I need to wake up. Someone wake me up. I'm trying to wake up. The caffeine's kicking in, but also my body is like content, and I'm just like, huh, you can take a little nap if you'd like. It'd be a nice little treat. I'm like, yeah, you're right, body. Do a little nippy nap. I said the rest of her body must have sunk to the bottom of the river. They combed the riverbed, but they only ever found pieces. Everything else must have rotted and flowed out to the sea. How many, scientifically, how many decomposed bodies are in our oceans? Like, ugh. Oh, the water is definitely fully contaminated at this point. I'm not a fan of that. I don't like that concept. Afterwards, I heard from all the divers who had been looking for her fell ill. Sorry story for everyone involved, huh? It's funny. Everyone figures that the river is filthy already, so one more piece of garbage won't hurt. But every little bit makes it worse, and it's a vicious cycle. I know I wouldn't go rooting around there myself. That's right, which is why the riverbed is the last place anyone would go looking. Or so was the killer's thinking, I suppose. The times were changing quickly back then. Things were confusing. Everyone seemed to be in a hurry. Young people were moving to Tokyo in droves. Some even ran away from home to make it to the big city. They made easy targets for bad people. A lot of them ended up disappearing without a trace. You see, back then, if you chopped the body up in tiny pieces and threw it in the river, it would rot quickly and discreetly and sink to the bottom, never to be seen again. Are you saying what I think you say? They arrested him shortly after, Fumichika Najima, the man who killed my classmate and cut her into pieces. He was so methodical about it, it couldn't have been his first crime. The people were wondering how many other girls he murdered the same way. The police never found any evidence of other murders in the end. It's because of the ghost! He was cursed, he got possessed. But the river knows the truth. How many corpses has it swallowed up over the years, I wonder. That same thought spreading through everyone's mind as they start to avoid the area. So really, this river has been rank with corruption for decades now. Or at least that's how it seems to me. Well, was that interesting? Well, I can see why you don't have any good memories of this river. With all that darkness lurking beneath the surface, there's no reason that you would. Still, if I may, ma'am, I'm surprised you know so much about the Najima murders. How could I not? After all, I was the one who found the hand. That's not really a terrifying ghost story revelation. Didn't she say she found the hand at the beginning? I was under the assumption she said she did. Huh? The police actually wrote me a thank you letter. They said it was only thanks to me that they were able to bring Najima to justice. That was the one time my father ever said he was proud of me. Huh. Honey, do you need therapy? I can recommend a therapist. Guess it just wasn't the killer's day. Sometimes I wonder if he resents me for it. Sumida River. I have nothing but awful memories of it. Well, in Komagatsu Bridge over the Sumida River. There's a highway on one side and a freeway on the other. They both deserted this late at night. Any Boyds? Any Boyd stickers? Something wrong. No, really, it just struck me. It's been 20 years since Najima murders. So it has. Not to spook you or anything, but I thought you might be interested in knowing. Life in prison doesn't always mean life. There's a precedent for first-time offenders being allowed out on parole after 20 years. Only if they're found to show remorse and the desire to reform themselves, of course. I'm sorry, I think my boobs hit the mic. Ah! That's right, I'm impressed you know so much. Still, it's hard for someone with a criminal record to reintegrate into society. I hear they've been trying to fix that recently, matching inmates with jobs and accommodation. Oh, really? They keep an eye on them, of course, make sure and make them report in for regular checkups. But to avoid discrimination, they keep an inmate's records a secret from everyone but their employers. Makes sense. I feel like, isn't this like an accurate thing that they do? Because like, hello, I consume a lot of true crime, unfortunately, but I'm very particular in how I consume it. And like, I don't do sensationalized like retellings or anything. I'm very particular because I prefer to have respect for the victims. And what I've learned in my research is that Japan's criminal justice system is far different than America's, and they do everything they can for like anonymity for the victims and sometimes for the culprits. I don't know. This seems accurate though. Slightly accurate. Am I talking out of my ass? I could be talking out of my ass. We don't know. But we're here. Hi. Hello. They even give particularly notorious criminals new identities so they won't be recognized in the workplace. Right. The way you put it. It's like you're saying Fumichika and Najima could be on parole now. Back to society under a new name with nobody any the wiser. It's possible. As it happens, a little birdie told me about a big name making parole a few months back. I don't know if it was Najima. But our discussion just now just bring it to mind. Let's see. Should we be trusting Richter? Like, he hot. Him titties out. I'm concerned about not trusting him now. Also, hi Onyx, how are you? I had a hiccup. How was your Saturday? How unsettling. Now that you mention it, I just remembered something too. What was it? I was passing Komagata High School a little while ago when I saw someone. A janitor, I think. And I could have sworn he reminded me of Fumichika Najima. Oh? A little different after 20 years. That work ready to commit crimes? Oh my god, you have a free pass. I give you crime permission. Commit those crimes, baby. Do it. Fight somebody. Much thinner than I remembered, too. I told myself I was just seeing things. But perhaps it was him after all. So, what next? The big question is, what are the rest of the curse bearers up to? Luckily, the Sumida River is a good distance from any of the 7 mysteries. It's unlikely that the curse bearers will all come the way here. I think I can finally have a moment to think. I see. Alright. Suspend? What the fuck does suspend mean? I'm gonna let the camera get closer. Does it stop? Yeah, it does. Yeah, you cannot currently progress any further. If your situation has changed, hit resume and try again. Oh my god, I have to play the other characters! Alright, cool. Shit. Who do we want? High schooler? Or cute subordinate? Because I like the subordinate, don't like him. Let's go play with the Waluigi.